Alright everybody, I am back with another video, and this one is sort of different than what I've done before, as I have decided to take on watching something from the collection, but I am starting with, or I've decided to call this 10 Years Too Late, even though this particular thing that we're going to discuss is about 17 years too late, but I thought 10 years too late sounds good to visit things that I've never seen that are have quite a bit of distance from the time that they're released to the time I record this video. And it just so happens to coincide with blood donation that I did today. We're going to be talking about my first time watching season 1 of True Blood. I have never seen this show before, and I had come across in one of my earlier videos, I was gifted a bunch of DVDs and it had some of the seasons of True Blood in there, but didn't have season 1 and 2. So I sought out season 1 and 2 off of eBay for pretty cheap, and I decided that I was going to make this a segment, or I decided I was going to watch the show from the beginning. I don't know anything about it other than that Anna Paquin is in it, and I thought I was going to actually watch all 7 seasons. So we're starting with season 1 today. I just finished it up, and I thought I would chat a little bit about it. I'm not going to go through every episode one by one, but I just wanted to give my thoughts as someone who's coming to the show for the first time with very few spoilers. But just to give a little bit of background, as I looked it up online, just so I kind of know what I'm talking about. True Blood, the series creator is Alan Ball, and the series premiered on September 7th, 2008, and concluded August 24th, 2014, comprising of 7 seasons and 80 episodes. It goes on to say the first 5 seasons received highly positive reviews and both nominations and wins for several awards, including a Golden Globe and an Emmy. I knew none of this, and like I said, I just started watching it this week. I burned through the first 12 episodes at a pretty decent clip, which is good for me. Usually I get sidetracked and delayed and watching these things in a timely fashion, but I was glad to say that in record time I finished it, and wow, what a difference it makes watching a show with episodes back to back to back in quick succession, and how much more I retain than if you have to wait week to week or God forbid, years between seasons. I don't have to worry about that. I will open this packaging up. This is the Blu-ray that I received of season 1. The other seasons that I have are regular DVDs. But this is the Blu-ray of season 1 that I got. And then all the discs are showcased like that. It's really nice. So I'll keep this open so I can refer to some of the episodes. But basically, for those that do not know, the show takes place in Louisiana in a fictional town called Bon Tom. It's spelled Temps, but in the show they keep calling it Bon Tom without the S and without the temps. So it's not Bon Temps, it's Bon Tom, Louisiana. And it takes place 2 years after the Japanese have invented a synthetic version of the blood to allow vampires to function among society. And the 2 leads in the series are Sookie Stackhouse, played by Anna Paquin, and a 174-year-old vampire, Bill Compton, played by Stephen Moyer. My first impressions of it is very good. I haven't committed to a series like this in quite some time. I'm more of a movie person, but I really wanted to, dare I say, sink my teeth into something, and having the excuse of being gifted seasons and then sort of getting the first 2 seasons to kind of start a journey into something that's been around for close to 20 years. I think it's 17 years since the first season, and it's been off for 10 years. So we're talking quite a bit of time that it took me to get to this series. But I'm really enjoying it. I think that the casting across the board is great. What I'm really loving is the intermix of the side stories. You got your main story with Sookie and Bill, but then there are tons of side stories with Sam and Tara, Jason, and Lafayette. I just find it completely fascinating. I also find it fascinating that the people that they've got as guest stars, even though I think back then, 17 years ago, they were very not well known. So it includes an appearance of Eric Northman. Alexander Skarsgård played him. I don't know if he was pretty big then. And it's also funny that his name is Eric Northman, and he had a movie out in the past couple of years called The Northman. I don't know why, I just find that funny. And Lizzie Kaplan is in it. Stephen Root is in it in a couple of episodes. And just the interweaving of these stories is really good. Shish really hits the fan with Jason. Jason suffers a lot of the dramatic undoing of his decisions. He's got to be the least smart person on the show by design, but he makes some crazy, questionable decisions, and I find that he is beautifully stupid, for lack of a better word, but all around great. It's hard to talk about this movie without some semblance of spoilers, and I don't know if I'm out of line because, like I said, the show is 17 years old and has been off for 10 years. I don't know if there is a statute of limitations on such a thing, so there will be some slight spoilers. Like, I had no idea that Renee was in any way the killer. I found that to be interesting and a nice, shocking surprise towards the end of season 1. And I feel like Tara's arc was really interesting because she was so negative about everything and sort of tells you how it is, but she always came from a place of pessimism and negativity, and to see her kind of turn that corner after her exorcism that maybe wasn't legit, but in terms of how her mom had a similar one, it helped her mom, and the way it affected Tara. The one thing that was, I guess, surprising to me was how horny the show is. There is tons of sex in this first season, and I guess vampires are inherently sexy, which is totally cool. I have nothing against it. I mean, I know it's almost to be expected, but this show has got literally something for everybody, and there's tons of sex in it. Jason Stackhouse is at the forefront of this, and I was very eager to find out why that is the case, and I think we're heading down that road. We're going to be tackling that in season 2. But I've had to hold off on Googling certain things that I've wanting to inquire about for my own knowledge, and people that I've talked to about it have said, don't Google anything, just watch the show. And so far I've done that. I only Google things now to find out where the actors are today, but I try not to read anything for future seasons or anything like that. So there's that. Like I said, I found the inner workings, these subplots, the B and C stories, to be phenomenal. Like, the balancing act that they're doing in season 1 is really good. They're letting every character have their moments, have their time to shine, have their stories play out, and I really enjoy that. Like, so far, nothing's like put on the back burner, so to speak. They balance it really well, considering that each show is an hour long roughly. They do a great job of balancing the drama for everyone. The revelation that Sam is a shapeshifter, awesome. I knew something was up the minute he was rolling around in the sheets in one of the early episodes. You know, there's just enough gore in the show to be good, but not too off-putting. I don't really mind that much, but I found that to be cool. And there's a lot of gore for the gore people. There's a lot of sex for the sex people. A lot of nudity. Definitely not something you watch with your kids. And then we get to about I did want to address this specifically. I think it's episode 9 or 10. There's two things I want to bring up specifically. In episode 10, or maybe it's 11, where Bill seeks refuge underground as these rednecks from the bar go to throw Molotov cocktails at the house because they know that vampires have moved in and they were going to terrorize them and basically set the house on fire. Our vampire lead, Bill Compton, seeks refuge underground to bury himself to avoid this from happening. The house burns down. Sookie goes to check on the house. Bill comes out of the ground, stark naked, covered in dirt, and they immediately start making love. And I was like, whoa, that has to be insanely unsanitary. Like, there's just something about it that was so weird and gross, and I'm just like, whoa, no way. But, so that was interesting. Oh, I think it's also in that same episode, in episode 10. The episode name is I Don't Want to Know. It's episode 10 of season 1. Tara goes to the drugstore to get some Pepto-Bismol for her mom, who has an upset stomach. And she sees Miss Jeanette there, the witch doctor from a couple episodes prior, where she performed the exorcism on her mom to get her to stop drinking, and also performed an exorcism on Tara to try to get the demon out of her to be so negative and look at life more positively. Tara recognizes Miss Jeanette at the drugstore. She had a wig on. When they come out of the drugstore, they're at a place called DeSoto Pharmacy, and I did the Leonardo DiCaprio meme because I had lived in LA for 20 years, and at any point in those 20 years, I never lived more than 5 miles away from that place. For literally 2 decades, I drove past it almost on a daily basis. I never knew they shot there. I don't know if it would have mattered then because I wasn't watching the show, but they filmed so much stuff around there, it never really, it was always like, oh yeah, they're filming something. NCIS or whatever. There's always something somewhere around there that was being filmed. So I totally shocked, and I've had milkshakes at that place. I didn't frequent it a lot because I didn't really need a pharmacy that much, but it was a legitimate pharmacy, and it was one of those old-timey ones that served ice cream and milkshakes, and so it became a big thing because they were gonna move the ice cream part out of there, and so a bunch of us went to support them in their last few weeks of employment, and we got some milkshakes and hung out there one afternoon. But this is way after the show. Anyway, I thought it was very cool that this place is not, DeSoto Pharmacy is not Louisiana, y'all. It is in the outskirts of Los Angeles. It is in the San Fernando Valley in a city called Canoga Park. That's where the DeSoto Pharmacy is. So that was very exciting. I haven't recognized any other LA-based locations. I think a majority of it is filmed in Louisiana. I haven't really checked. And so yeah, I just wanted to give a sort of glowing review, some perspective from someone that's never seen the show, jumping into it for the first time 10 years after the show ended, 17 years after the first episode premiered. I really like Sam. I like how there's a lot of conflict in terms of love triangles, and I'm very excited, and hopefully that these subplots of these threads pay off. I know that the longer shows go, things start to fall by the wayside and stuff like that, and this will be the first time that I stick with a show this long. Like, there's been a lot of network shows back when they were first broadcast that I never stuck to, but because we live in an era where I'm able to watch episode after episode in quick succession, I think I'm going to fire through this series in a pretty good clip of time. I didn't mention that the plots involving like Lafayette and his supplier of Eddie supplying the blood, played by Stephen Root, which was, I think, a couple of episodes worth of show, was really good. It's just so funny to see Stephen Root in these. I know him as Milton from Office Space.
Excuse me, I believe you have my stapler.
It's just these little moments of really good actors showing up for a couple scenes, or he had a little bit of a thread before his demise. The main cast of characters is so good, so diverse, in the sense that you're not looking at the same old thing. Lafayette is not a stereotype. I like how complex the characters are. I hope it stays with that. I like when the show knows when to be funny and when to be serious, and it right now is walking a delicate line between the two. It appreciates and understands its absurdity of the subject matter, but it also knows when to treat it seriously. But there's a moment where Sookie goes to Bill's house and those 3 vampires are there, and one of them name is Malcolm, and Liam, I can't remember the young lady's name, but at some point right before, I think it's right around the time Sookie does not want to be turned into a vampire, he says, "You are a dead man," and I just found that so funny the way he said it. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that made me laugh. But all the supporting characters really elevate this whole thing. It treads a fine line of fantasy, sort of monster romance, but I don't mind. It's not quite as silly as Twilight, even though I never saw those, but boy does that get a bad rap. But I'm enjoying the show enough to at least watch 2 episodes a day, and this particular season I was able to pull that off and watch them in relatively quick succession. I think I got through season 1 in about 6 days, so that's pretty good. I can't promise that's going to be like that for all the seasons. I can't promise I'm going to be able to do lengthy recap videos. In fact, I don't even know if I felt like I recapped it. I'm trying to talk about this stuff without, I don't want to dive into every episode because I'm not going to be able to remember what happens in every single episode, even though I have the titles of the episodes in front of me. I just like what is revealed, where it's going. I like how the characters are complex. They're, Tara with her mom and the alcoholism and overcoming that particular story thread. I thought it was great that they're kind of hinting at it doesn't matter if it's real, it's what you believe, and if it fixed you and helped you, is that wrong? Personally, for me, I don't think so. Her mom thinks she's cured, she's not drinking anymore. That's a success to me. If it's because of the exorcism, okay. The exorcism was fake, but the mom believes it. I don't know if there's any harm in that. And I like the reveal of Renee and his alter ego, his real name being Drew, and him taking acting classes, including a Cajun accent to fool everybody in this new town. And I actually did not see that coming. I'm sure there are a lot of other people more seasoned at this stuff than I am that saw it coming a mile away. But it's always the ones you least expect, and the one that gets the least amount of time to shine in camera in terms of he wasn't always in the forefront of all these scenes. And you could have fooled me that he was acting with that Cajun accent, because I thought for sure he was all about it. I thought they plucked him right out of the town that they filmed it in or whatever. But so all around good season. I like the cops that sort of tread the line between sort of bumbling, but they're stepping up their game as the season went on to be a little bit more thorough and a little bit more taking it seriously as the serious events would unfold. I like Lizzie Kaplan's role in this. It was short-lived, but I liked how these people come into the main characters' lives, and bad things happen. And I'm going to be very eager to see how all this plays out, see more episodes. I'm just going to be starting season 2 very soon, and I hope to be back with more reports. So please, if you've made it this far, sound off in the comments below. What is your favorite season? What are your favorite episodes? Try not to put spoilers, not for anybody else who's seen the show 1,000 times, but for me. I haven't seen 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm coming in with fresh eyes, so don't spoil anything. And I do plan on watching all 7 seasons. I've already heard from other people saying, oh, 6 and 7 are bad. I am going to try to stick with it just for the sole purpose that I can, because they're at my grasp. I own these videos. I own these DVDs. I'm going to watch them. But I am looking forward to season 2. Again, please like, comment, subscribe. I do plan on putting another recap season as I watch these. And I'm always talking about physical media and stuff in my collection, stuff I'm adding to my collection, stuff I'm watching, as in this. So yes, it was great to talk about. I feel like I glossed over a lot, but I was kind of just expressing my enthusiasm of the overall season. And not getting into, I didn't want to get into going through every episode with plot points and stuff, since that's been done to death. I haven't even looked. I'm afraid to look online because I don't want anything spoiled. So yes, so please, I'd love to sound off in the comments, like and subscribe. Please stay tuned for future videos about physical media, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care, have a great day, and keep drinking your true blood. Take care, bye-bye.